Welcome back, and congratulations on completing the first part of this program as a finder. Whether you transitioned to fundamental well-being during it, realized you'd previously transitioned as part of it, or came in knowing that you were a finder and wanting to deepen and explore, it has been such an honor to share this time with you. As you've heard me say many times, as a finder, the single most important thing you can do is sink into the fundamental well-being that you experience as much and as often as you can. More than anything else, this is the most reliable way to lock it in and deepen it. I can't stress enough how important it is to respect fundamental well-being and to take it seriously. No matter what your beliefs are about it, we know from our research that it can go away. You have to honor it and make it a priority in your life to really lock it in. There are two important things for you to do right now. First, ensure that you really lock in fundamental well-being. And second, prepare for the next part of your program, which involves using the newfound abilities you have as a finder to further your weight loss goals. As I said a moment ago, the absolute most important thing that you should be doing right now is sinking into fundamental well-being every chance you get. Don't think that you have to wait until you have longer periods of time to do it. Of course, that's great, and you should be continuing to set aside your hour a day for sinking in. However, you also want to sink in whenever you can, even if it's just for a moment or two. Most new finders land on the shallow end of fundamental well-being, sometimes so shallow that they don't even believe that they're in it. Let me be clear about this. If, when you pause and look down deep inside yourself, you have a sense that everything seems fundamentally okay, and it's like this whenever you look, no matter what's going on in your life, you're in fundamental well-being. You've had the core shift that makes all the difference. It doesn't matter if you still have a mix of positive or negative emotions or experience or whatever. It doesn't matter if you can still get triggered to anger. It doesn't matter if your head is still filled with a bunch of negative thoughts. What matters is that deep down, underneath all of that, you have this persistent sense that everything is fundamentally okay. Unless you had a very intense transition to a deeper region of fundamental well-being, most new finders experience at least some of the above, a mix of positive and negative emotions, the ability to get triggered, and so on. You see, the transition is just the beginning. It opens the door so that you can walk through it. What you do on the other side is actually what matters most. The nature of the game now is to begin to pull that deep, often primarily in the background sense of fundamental okayness and peace more forward in your experience, into the foreground of your experience, so that it permeates all or as much of your lived experience as possible. It's common for finders to feel that the best way to do this is to just keep sinking into fundamental well-being so that it can just work its magic and do its thing. Sometimes the pull of this is extremely strong. It can feel like this is the only thing that you should be doing as a new finder. You need to be careful of this feeling. Sinking in, as we've already said, is incredibly important, but we have tracked the lives of thousands of finders at this point, many of whom just sunk in and sunk in and sunk in and did nothing else. And I can tell you that where their lives ended up seemed pretty random. For some, this had fantastic outcomes. For most, average, but okay outcomes, and for some, disastrous outcomes. It definitely didn't seem like anything even remotely approaching an internal guidance system that would optimize a new finder's life to help them thrive for the rest of it. One thing that they did have in common was that it generally was successful at pulling the fundamental okayness and peace forward in their experience, more to the foreground of their experience over time. As you'll hear soon, in the next part of the program, there is an initial 2-year cycle that does some of this, and it is followed by a longer and deeper 7-year cycle that we don't talk about in this program. After studying these outcomes for a period of years, we began to wonder about and experiment with helping finders to pull forward the fundamental sense that things are okay and the deep peace that accompanies it, and also to optimally integrate fundamental well-being into their day-to-day life so that they could have the most awesome life possible as a finder, and not just deep peace of fundamental well-being. After a couple of years of this, we started a program to help people, which we've continued to evolve from the research over time. That program is called Thriving in Fundamental Wellbeing. And as a participant in this program, it's available to you at a healthy discount. Needless to say, we highly recommend it and feel that it contains all of the most important things you should know right now beyond the weight loss recommendations that we'll be making during the next part of the program. In addition to the weight loss content that goes live this coming weekend, you'll also see some bonus method content show up. And you have all week to spend, all of this week, to spend practicing and deepening into fundamental well-being. On the next video, we'll get you prepared for all of this. I'll see you there.